Hi, it's Linda from Linda's Paperworks. I just made this little cover for this book journal. I want to show you how to do binding. This little piece is going to be bound with a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. And then I'm going to put a Midori binding in this with elastic and eyelets. I wanted to mention how I made this cover. This is a box. It was supper last night, Zatarain's Jambalaya. And what I did is I kept one side of the box, the narrow side, and then the 2 longer sides, and cut off this piece that was here. And then I covered it in scrapbooking paper, and I glued the inside piece on first and wrapped it to the outside. Normally what you do is you have this look on the inside, but I decided to do something different this time, so that's what I did. I wrapped it to the outside. I took this piece of scrapbooking paper and tore around the edge and inked it and glued a piece of lace underneath it. And I wanted it to have a little of the inside paper showing here. So I tore this back a little further than just it would be if it were straight with the edge. So it's basically just glued together. So that is that. And then these pages I put together to fit inside, and there has to be enough room, and I hope I made them small enough to fit inside the elastic that is going to be there with eyelets in the cover. There's going to be 2 pieces of elastic in here. I wanted to have one signature bound, and then the other signature just behind the elastic. The pages could be taken out and used however you'd like to use them, or taken out and decorated and put back in, rearranged, whatever. Anyway, this is what I have for the signature that's going to be bound. I wanted a scrapbooking paper for the cover, and then this is some of that dotted paper, grid paper that it's not coffee dyed, and music sheet that's not coffee dyed. This is the kids learning to print paper that is coffee dyed. A sheet of laser paper or printer paper that's coffee dyed. This is a page out of a book that has prompts, writing prompts in it, and it's turned sideways, so whoever would be working in this journal could either write here or just ignore the prompt and just do something else on this page. And this is ledger paper. This is part of a page out of the old encyclopedia that I coffee dyed, and it has that pink, I guess it's ink that bled on it from another page. And this is coffee dyed with the dots from the bubble wrap. And then this page, I just coffee dyed this to have, I wanted something a little fancy in the center spread. So this is a piece of scrapbooking paper that I coffee dyed, a 6x6 sheet that I tore down. And then just the other side of all those pages there. And this one is a little bit long, so I turn this flat back. I think I'm going to glue the edges, and it'll make a little tuck spot there in the back. And some of these other pages have the same thing, and I'll just think about what I'm going to do with those at some other time. They could be used as just a flip out, or adding a pocket or something on them, or just, different things that you can do. It's not a very big journal, so it's a little bit limited in what can actually be done with some of those flaps and things. I just want to make sure I have things in the position I want them in. I want this music sheet up a little bit. And, okay, I think that looks pretty good. Now I'm just going to put paper clips on the edge of the pages to hold them in place while I'm punching the holes and stitching them. That looks a little odd there. They're not all exactly the same size, and I'm okay with that. I kind of like it to be a little bit messy. Okay, so for a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, you want to punch 3 holes in the center, and I'm going to use my awl, and I like to put, just open up a book, one that you don't care too much about because it's going to get poked, and just put this signature into that fold that's open, and that way you kind of have it held in place and everything pressed down tight together. And then I just kind of look at it and see where I think the middle might be and punch a hole. And then I go up to about that far down from the top and punch another hole and about that far up from the bottom and punch that hole. Needs to be a little bit more through there. Ouch. Watch your fingers when you're doing that, obviously. Okay, so we have our holes punched. I have several options here on the thread to use to bind this book. You could use embroidery thread. I don't particularly want white on it because my cover is kind of a pink color. And this greeny blue doesn't go with that. So I'm not going to use that today. This is cotton rug warp. And it's just a strong cotton thread. And this is a kind of a tan color, I guess you'd call it. That would be fine, I'm sure. Or this one is navy blue, which this is the one I'm leaning toward using. Unless I change my mind. And this one is embroidery thread. It's a little bit softer feel to it. It would be fine too. I don't know. I'm thinking that color is not really what I want in it. It would be fine because it matches that kind of. But I think I'm going to go with the navy. And what you do is you take your signature and you measure off about 3 lengths of thread. I always do a little bit extra because I'm scared it won't be enough, but it always is. I'm using a big needle that has a kind of sharp point, but a big eye, which is really good if you're using a ribbon or something wider than this thread is. But you just okay, what you do is you go through the center, and there are other ways of doing this. This is how I do it. You go through the center. That's gonna, okay, there we go. It didn't like going through that hole. Okay, and then up to the top, and go back through from this side. This needle has such a big eye that it is poking those holes a little bigger than I would like, but it'll be okay. And then go through the bottom hole. And then you come back through the center hole. And what you want to do when you come through the center hole is have one thread on this side of this center string and come up on the other side of the string so that you tie the knot around that string and hold it in place. A little bit. Oh, it's not too bad. Here we go. And you don't want to pierce your other thread either, because if you pierce the thread, then you can't adjust it. So you want to come up through there and not go through it. I hope you can see that okay. Okay. I've got one side way longer than the other side, so I'll pull it down a little bit. See, there's plenty of thread here, even if you want to leave it dangles below the bottom of the page. So I just like to tie a knot like that. And you can tie a bow, you can leave them long. You could put charms on the end of it, tie knots in it or whatever, but I think today I'm just going to clip them off fairly short, like that. So we have our book bound. You can use this 3-hole punch on any kind of journal that you want to use it on. But anyway, I'm going to just kind of fold these pages down just a little bit here with my bone folder. Maybe in the center as well a little bit. Just to give them a good crease so everything lays flat. See, that needle has such a big eye that it kind of tore the paper when it went through. But I think it's fine. I don't think it'll cause any problem there. And I'll just do a little bit here. Okay, that's fine. All right, now we're going to set this aside and do our eyelets in the outside cover. And what I'm gonna do is punch 2 holes at the bottom and 2 holes at the top. And I made a little template here. This is the other side, so it's basically the same width as this, and I can just place it on there and kind of hold it in place and then punch through the holes there. But first, I want to punch the holes so I know how they look and where they're gonna be. And this is my mother's very old eyelet, I don't know what you call that, eyelet pliers. And it has a post that punches the hole in the paper and then sets the eyelet. There are tools called crocodile that are very much nicer than this is and very much more expensive, probably work a lot better. But this, I have this, and so it works okay, and I'm just gonna use it till some other time. Anyway, I marked that so I would have them kind of in the same location there. It may be a little bit off, but it's okay. Nobody's gonna notice. Okay, now I'm gonna put this on here and just kind of line it up nice and straight and just set my eyelet punch right inside that previously punched place and repeat it over here like that. That's a little bit off. See, that's kind of crooked there. It's a junk journal. My mother was so precise in her sewing and everything, and I guess I learned from her about making things as perfect as you can. But you know, that's not really what we do in junk journal world. We just have fun and not worry too much about making things that kind of perfect. It can be perfect if you like it. Okay, those are slightly better there, which is good. I guess it's at the top. Okay. I had this 1/8 of an inch elastic, and this is what I'm gonna use in this. But first I have to put the eyelets in there. And since we have red elastic, well, it's not really red, it's kind of a pinky color. I think that red would clash with it and not really go too well with that. So we could do white, black. I don't really want black on it. There's a silver one. There's a tan one. I may do the tan. I kind of like that, if I have enough of those left. Oh, that's kind of a yellow color there. Let's see, there's another white one. I could do white pretty easily. There's that color. I think I have enough of those. I think I am gonna go with that, I think. Get this out of my hand, put it back in the jar. Sometimes they're a little bit difficult to get in the hole. I don't know why that is. You'd think it would fit perfectly. I guess it's a little bit bigger. Okay, there we go. I just wanted to see how it was going to look. I think I like that fine. And it will have this elastic coming up through there and over to the other hole. I think I like that. I'm going to go with that. So the way this works is you have this side on the inside with where you're pressing that down flat, and put the post through it to lock it in place. Mother used this when she was making belts to go with the dresses she made for herself. Sewing tool. Oops, it's got a sharp spot on it. I better press it some more. It still does. Let's see if I can't press it down. Not done yet. I don't know, every time I use this, I think maybe getting a crocodile would not be a bad idea. Okay, that's kind of pressed down now, I think. Okay, 2 more to go. Not done yet. I don't know why that one side of that does not want to press down. And I think it's always been that way. I think Mother used to have trouble with it doing that. Okay. Let's press that down a little bit. And we have our eyelets in. You wouldn't have to use eyelets like that if you didn't have the equipment or you didn't feel like you wanted to do that. You could punch holes to run the elastic through, maybe reinforce them with those hole reinforcers that you use in notebook paper or something like that. Or just an extra piece of fabric or something across there to just reinforce it a little bit. So, okay, and it looks like my paper. This paper, I've been really disappointed in it. It's a nice paper and I like the design on most of it. But it seems like it wants to crack when it's folded. See how that is right there? So I'm probably going to need to put some strips of fabric there to reinforce that and keep it from breaking like that. This side doesn't seem to be doing that. And maybe it's because it's folded in instead of out. Anyway, we'll go ahead and thread the elastic through here. There we go. You go up. I just want that to be straight there. There we go. And then back through this hole. And that's not what I want. I want to come through this hole so that my knot is going to be on the inside. I have to untie this knot. Okay. All right. Okay, let's see what we got back here. I want those to be flat on there too, so that looks fine. And I'm just going to tie a knot here. Actually, I'm going to cut this off so I don't have that big long piece hanging out there. And then I can work with it a little better, I think. Have them about the same length, I think would be good. And I'm going to just make them a little bit tight. Tie a square knot. Left over right, right over left. There we go, yay. Okay, now, those are straight. That's not really straight, but we're just going to have to live with this. It's kind of twisted too. Oh well. If I get industrious, I'll untie it and retie it off camera. Okay, now I'm just going to slide this little book in under the elastic, and I think I'll put that elastic, the knot, on this side with this paper. The elastic and that is on the same thing. Maybe that's not the best idea, but the great thing about this Midori-style is if you don't like it there, you can move it and put it into this elastic. And then I'm just going to add some pages in under that. I don't think I'm going to do it right now, but just here's a couple of pages. I'll just slide these in here to see how it looks, if that'll work. And then we have our little journal with its pages sticking out here. That's too long, obviously. But that's, that's something you can change. You can tear it off to make it fit or whatever. But anyway, that's two ways to bind a journal, either Midori-style or 3-hole pamphlet stitch, or both. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye.